In this video, I'm going to show you how to do a spatial join. So basically, what we have here is these pink polygons are watersheds all through the United States. They're part of a hydrology data set. And if we look at their attribute table, you can see that there's a bunch of information, but there's nothing about like what state they're in, right? And granted, some of them cross state lines because watersheds don't line up with states necessarily. But we might want to know for regulatory reasons or something what state most of the watershed is in. So we want to add a column out here that says what state are these watersheds in. And so to do that, I have this shapefile of states. So we can turn that on and off to see. So this is each polygon is a state. And what we can basically do is ask ArcGIS Pro to add a column, and based on the spatial location of that watershed, add the state that the majority of that watershed is in. And so let's look at how to do that. This is called a spatial join. So we can search spatial join, and that comes up here. So we click spatial join. Our target feature is the one we want to add data to. So we're going to put our watersheds. Our join feature is the one that we want to take data from based on the location. So that's going to be states. And then this is what it's going to call the output. So I'm going to call this watersheds states because it has the states in there. Join operation, we're just one state to one watershed, so 1 to 1. And then our match option, this is where we want to be careful what we pick. So in this case, what I want to do is has their center in. So wherever the center of that watershed, whatever state that's in, we're going to consider that the state of the watershed. So you can see there are a lot of different options depending on the question that you have. But in this case, I'm going to do have their center in. And because we're doing have their center in and they're all contained in the US, we don't need to do a search radius. So let's run this. And here you go. Now we have our watershed states, and we can turn off our original watershed and see it didn't change the appearance at all. We still have the same watersheds. But if we right click and go into the attribute table, now we can go over and look at this. We have what state each watershed is in. And we could like check on this by, let's say, let's highlight or select these main watersheds and then look. And they should light up on the map. Yeah, there we go. There's just a little delay. So we can see those watersheds that are in Maine are highlighted. So it looks like it worked. So that's how you can add basically the spatial data from one shapefile to another one, add attributes based on the location of your data. So in the other instructional video on joins, we'll talk about doing this based on attribute table commonalities.